Yeah, Chan, he got more muscles than you.
Yeah, he got more
Everybody
muscle
got
than me.
more muscle.
He get paid to have muscle.
Hey, you good?
What's up, family? How you doing, man?
That's your reason for it, bro?
Bro, yes. I worked out for 17 years to get paid. Then I got paid. What? Why am I working out anymore?
So when they stop paying, you stop working out.
Yes. I'm not going in the gym 6 a.m. and not make no money for who? For
Why
what?
6 a.m. though? I thought you go 6 p.m. though.
But I just don't like to work too. I done drank a bottle of wine by 6 p.m. I can't go to
My
the
fault.
gym.
Hold up, limitless. Take a stomach, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling got me up. On the mission got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. Only vision I can trust. Limitless. Take a stomach, got pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant.
Walk-in star, Jaylon Johnson, Chicago Bears, All-Pro, Pro Bowl corner. This is Shannon Crowder. This is Fred Taylor and Ryan Clark. Pivot fam, thank y'all for pivoting with us. Speaking of walk-ins, bro, on Monday night, you walked into the stadium in a skirt. Like I saw the cats in Atlanta was wearing like the mini skirts and the ruffles. So it made it all the way to the NFL now?
Yeah. Nah, it was some inspiration I honestly got. I looked at a few fashion shows and I seen it, and I was gonna do a different color. The first color didn't work, so I ended up switching to the backup, so the gray, red, and navy blue joint was a go-to. But I wouldn't even call it a skirt though. I definitely had some shorts on, but the guy who made it for me, he made of course the cover part for me. So it was a little button we had to kind of button it together. But I wasn't in a true skirt, man. I still had my shorts on for sure.
So guys out, thighs out.
No. It was right. It was right above the knee. It was still fashionable.
The fashion of the skirt. What is that?
No. It was still masculine. It wasn't just like it wasn't like I had all my thighs out. No. It's still masculine. I make sure I keep my line there for sure.
And he made sure too though, it was cut like a vest though.
Yeah.
So he made sure the guns was out. Like it wasn't.
No, and I still had the
He had on
G-Fazos on. So,
You had on like a onesie almost.
No.
Don't listen to him, bro.
I know how you go to bed and stuff. He wear the onesies.
Yeah,
It's
no
all
question.
good.
What would the homies back in Fresno say? That's all that matters.
They'll say I put it on.
Okay,
I mean,
well.
I think for me, it's one of those things where it's like I like to be different, and one of those things where it's like everybody kind of just wears the designer looks. That fit was something I was working on for about 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
Where I had a guy who did my SP suit a few years ago, and I contacted him, and then I was like, hey, bro, I need some help kind of creating something. So came to the house a few times. We went over some looks, went over some fabrics, materials, and he did a heck of a job.
So everybody that sit in that seat that got a fashion sense and think they really put it on,
Yeah.
I always got to ask them, what would your game and what would your fits or pieces look like compared to what y'all see RC do? Who the best?
You trying to say this, can he outdress me?
Basically, in a
I'm
nutshell.
45.
In a nutshell.
I think the swag is different in a way where I would say, as far as TV swag, I would put him at one, for sure. I would say as far as like suits, and I know definitely with the RC that he had, the pen, I like that.
Okay.
I would definitely say the combination of the suits, I would say the colors, things
But
like
in the
that.
head up, don't run from it. In the head up.
No. It's two different categories though. It's two different because I mean, again, I'm dressing to put on a show. I'm dressing to capture everybody's attention. I feel like his, at times, is more subtle, is more professional in a way. So I mean,
Thank you.
It's different looks.
Don't-
It's different looks.
RC got to try to dress though.
Yeah, no.
So y'all got to put dress versus dress.
You say I gotta put a dress on?
You got to put dress versus
No, my
dress.
dog told
He
you.
talking about dress. I thought he was talking about like dressing up. He talking about actual dress. Nah.
Jay, man, to get away from that, I remember that night before the game, you're walking in and Adam Schefter is talking about it, and I just made the joke. I was like, shoot, don't nobody come to the game that clean to
But you got
watch.
to go, yeah,
You know what I
no
mean?
doubt.
You know, you were injured, you were banged up. Headed into this weekend's game, how do you feel?
Ready to go.
Ready to go?
Yeah, nah, the injury honestly hurt me more than physically. It hurt me mentally. And one of those things where it's like, yeah, of course, 2-time Pro Bowler 2 years in a row. But for me, I felt like there's still a lot left out there for me to prove. So really just training, had my first offseason in Vegas. So training at UNLV, training all different spots, really pushing my body. And then the last week of training, one of my last days, brought my adductor off my pelvic bone.
Damn.
So it's like when I immediately did it, I felt it. And I'm like, nah, this ain't right. And I was telling my wife, like, nah, babe, I think it's kind of bad. And kind of just heading into it, and she was like, you gonna be okay or whatever, and giving me the wife talk and support. But I'm just like, I feel like God trying to really test me in a way of like when you think you going in the right spot, it's like, nah, I have something better for you. I can see further ahead for you. And I'm just like, man, God, that's a heck of a way to wake me up. Or like, that's a heck of a way to test me. But really just throughout this whole process of camp, it has given me a lot of insight, I would say, in how guys approach the game. And for me, you can't really tell until you get out of it. And it's like, I really missed it. And I was in Ben's hip pocket all the time, trying to get to practice, trying to see practice, begging him to get to the joint practices, things like that. But it's like, it really tested me mentally and really just made me hungry for the game again. And everything I've done, I mean, I've been doing 2 and 3 sessions a day, almost every day for the last 7, 8 weeks now. So I'm definitely in a good spot now.
How
I'm
hard
definitely
is it
prepared.
to watch the way the first game ended? You know, you guys were up on Minnesota. I saw how happy you were
Oh, the
when
pick six,
they got the pick
yeah.
6, right? They had the camera on you. And then to watch J.J. McCarthy find himself, you know, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, you know, he's running into the end zone. How difficult is it when you are that premier player on the defensive side of the ball? You have had these accomplishments, and it's primetime football,
Yeah.
week 1. How hard was it for you to have to watch your team lose?
It was extremely tough because for me, it was like, okay, things are finally starting to change in the first half. Okay, we got Ben, the offense is looking good, defense is flying around. We had like 3 and outs, I think, in the first half. And we're like, okay, like, for me, I'm starting to kind of erase those memories of the Bad News Bears previously that I've been a part of. And it's like, okay, and you start seeing it kind of slip slowly but surely. And it's like, man, I know we ain't going down this path again. And it's like, for me, too, when I know I can make an impact, especially with having Justin score a touchdown, it's like, man, that's the matchup I was freaking training for. That's one of those things where it's like, when I'm doing conditioning, I'm envisioning him. I'm envisioning covering him in that fourth quarter and things like that. So it's definitely hurt from that perspective, knowing that covering guys like him and the gauntlet that I'm gonna go against this year is the reason why I really train and do the things I do, push my body the way I do. So it definitely hurt in that way for sure that I couldn't be there to help the team.
And Jay, you said working out 2, 3 times a day, and I don't know if it's fantasy football or whatever, but even when we played, there was no fantasy for Fred. Fred's 100. But like they don't understand, like when you did the abductor and all that, how hard you want to play,
100%,
what you were
100%.
doing on a daily basis to get back. And I say, God, like, you have to heal.
Yeah,
What
no
did
doubt.
you do to get back? Because, like you say, bro, you're an all-pro corner. I'm watching the Minnesota game. I'm like, nah, they ain't doing that to Jay.
Yeah,
No.
no, 100%.
I would love to see that
Yeah.
matchup. So what did you do on a daily basis?
For one, the worst thing was I had 7 a.m. treatment every day. Even off days, it moved to 9, so we got a little bit of sleep. But for me, it was 7 a.m. treatment. It really, in the beginning phase, of course, trying to get all the inflammation out. And then I would still go to all the meetings. After meetings, I would come get more treatment, go lift during practice. After practice, come back in, get more treatment. So I was really getting, I would say, about 3 different sessions with a lift in pretty much every day, maybe except for the off day. And they kind of let me chill a little bit. But for the most part, it was really 3 and 4 sessions, including the weight room. And then once I got back into moving around, it was really the same thing. And now the weight room, and then sometime in the morning, I would go run, start incorporating my running, my change of direction, things like that. So it really got more intense. And of course, even in the weight room, after the weight room, we'll lift and then go get on the assault bikes. And it's like, those make a man out you for sure, especially when you trying to get back in shape. The assault bikes, the Versa climbers, all that type of stuff. So it really just me trying to get back in shape, get back stronger. Really, I just attack those. Like my practice is like my fall camp where I can go in there. It's like it's 95 degrees, it's humid or whatever. The guys out there working. Least I can do is bust my ass on this Versa climber and do what I can do to get back into shape to get prepared.
I actually tore my groin out the bone too, so I know exactly what you've been through. I know we'll get back to present, but take us back to Fresno, man. I know I asked you about it. How did that environment shape you? You know, your dad and your brother both played DBs. You saw them. How did that environment shape you, and sort of what were you able to take away from them?
Work was honestly the biggest thing for me. I know my dad, he's worked the same job, correctional officer, for I want to say about 30 years. So all I know from him is work. From my brother, from 8 years old, hard-working 8-year-old. And it's like, for me, I'm 4, and I'm kind of growing up like, okay, yeah, it just is what it is. And then through time, as he elevated himself, elevated his game, it was just like, nah, this what it takes to get where I want to go. And he had 25 plus offers coming out of high school. He was top DB, went to UCLA. My dad, of course, set the tone going to Fresno State, played there. So for me, it was, as far as the family dynamic goes, it was all about work. Like whatever it is, my pops told us straight up, like, I ain't got no money, no, I ain't got no college fund set up for you. Whatever you want to do, if you want to go to JUCO, that's on you. But if you want to make something work for yourself, you got to go get it. So I mean, for me, that was really all I knew from my pops. But I would just say Fresno was somewhat on the other side of that. And you had a lot of opportunities to go left. And I think for me, not even I think, I know that if it wasn't for God and his hand on me, I could be in a totally different direction. And I say that because I know once my family split or my parents split when I was like maybe 9, kind of transitioning into middle school, elementary school, that's when things start to shift, identities start to kind of be found in ways. The kids that I played on my Pop Warner team starting to go down the wrong paths, and it's like things like that you start to see from the city is definitely something that I could have indulged in. And my dad, of course, being a correctional officer, he was always hard on me. He was tough on me. He used to whoop us with the damn leather work belt. So I mean, I knew what a good whooping looked and felt like. But I think for me, I made a commitment early to myself that I wanted different for myself. I wanted different for my family. And with those examples, like I said, with my dad, my brother, it was like, nah, I just got to work. I gotta flip that switch.
Right. So seeing that hard work and having avoided those pitfalls that could potentially have come
100%.
with the city of Fresno, what was more gratifying, hearing your name called on draft night or the re-up, signing that big-ass deal?
Ooh.
I'll probably say the re-up. I think draft night, I was too mad. I went
I was just about to
at
ask
50,
about
yeah,
that.
and I feel like, honestly, for me, I think it was more so my shoulder. I had just had shoulder surgery.
Right.
So it was, I think it was a lot of uncertainty around that. But either way it went, I was definitely still, I was high. I was a little dressed up the first night, and I was like, man, damn, now I'm coming in a regular fit this time, and I'm going to just wait for my name to get called, hopefully. But I would definitely say the contract. But even in that, I think, too transparently speaking, I felt like it was, I feel like it was a good deal, but I would definitely say that I felt like there was more out there to get. And I think that still drives me in that way of like when I look at myself in the mirror, I look at myself as a top guy. And it's like when I got paid, of course, it was life-changing money. It was something that I can set my family up for the rest of their lives. But for me, I'm still hunting that top spot. So I think even within that, it's like, okay, yeah, I got it. I'll be able to do some things or whatever, buy a new house, get some new stuff, things like that. But for me, it's like, nah, I'm trying to still get that top spot.
Can you talk about that? I think that's a conversation, we have on this show, but that's not often had, is when you get a deal, there's going to be somebody the next month or the next year that's the same level of player or whatever it is, and that player gets the next level of money. But we've seen since you've got your deal, Pat Surtain, he sets the market. Jalen Ramsey gets more money, but now we've seen Derek Stingley, Sauce Gardner. When you talk about the top spot, is it the top spot in the field of people perceive you as the number one corner, or is it the top spot in the sense of not only am I perceived as the number one corner, I'm paid as the number one corner in the NFL as well?
I would say that I think the biggest thing for me is impact, and I feel like if you look at your number one guys, I feel like all of those guys, I mean, even J.C. Horn, he's Carolina's number one guy, and he reset the market. And I think, too, we're at a point where it's not just, okay, are you better than him? But it's like, I'm the top guy on our team, and I'm the top guy amongst the league. So I think for me, it's one of those things where if their top guy on his team can get top money, top guy on that team gets top money, there's no reason why the top guy on our team shouldn't get that same money. And for me being a homegrown kid, for me going through now 3 regimes, still being able to produce, still being able to make the plays that I made, unhealthy, hurt, fighting through injuries, and things like that, all Pro Bowl seasons, I think there's nothing left to question. But I think for me, I always find some motivation in it to where it's like, nah, okay, clearly the people within my building don't see me or view me how I think they should see me and view me. And then, of course, amongst the league, I feel like there's still some doubt. So for me, that's really the biggest thing I'm trying to prove is, of course, myself right always. But I feel like at a certain time, it's like I gotta pop my shit to other people to where they know like what it is.
And, bro, we talked to D-Mo and Gibbs, the Detroit running back.
Yeah, for sure. D-Mo, my dog.
Them two. And J. Ram, who's the OG now.
That's him, yeah.
That
definitely-
motherfucker went crazy there.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
He said it when we talked to him, Chan. He was like, nah, I'm finna show him. I'm still that.
Yeah, you got to, yeah.
But it's funny that you say, y'all watch the market. And y'all know that I can't take nothing less because that's going to mess up a dude that plays in anywhere,
sure.
San Diego, Carolina, wherever.
Right.
Like if I don't push the envelope, I'm messing up the corner market. Like Demo and Gibbs were talking about, they were like, we need to reset this. Saquon went out there and got his money and all, and they were like, y'all think about that. I don't know if it's the communication and we're just old, but I never talked to other linebackers when my deal was up. Do y'all understand that now as a I guess a progressive player union?
I think it's one of those things where people have different mindsets when it comes to contracts. And I think people a lot of times can go for APY. A lot of times people can go for guaranteed money. They can go for the length of the deal. Some people want shorter, 3 years. Some people may want longer, 5-year deals. I think that impacts the value of your contract. I think it's easy. Okay, yeah, let me make me the highest paid, and my guarantees are bottom 10. And it's like, that's not a good deal for me. I think then that was one of the good things I feel like about my deal was, yeah, my APY was somewhere in the middle, but I think my guaranteed, even now to this point, I think I'm still at least top 3 in a lot of the new deals that have been made as far as guaranteed money, especially in the first year, the first 2 years, things like that. So I would say that was the good part about my deal. But I think I'd much rather get guaranteed money and make my money than go and get the top paid spot. And so, yeah, I'm making $35 million a year on paper, but I only take home X amount of money. So I think it really just depends on your viewpoint in it.
Yeah, you came in as a day one starter. Take us through your welcome to the league moment when you knew you had to be matched up versus the wide receiver ones every Sunday.
I
You
would
was
say,
like, I'm here.
yeah, I would say that started I would say my first year. Mike Evans was damn good. My first year when I played him. Mike Evans, Tom Brady. I think it was Thursday Night Football. That was my first touchdown too. I think I gave up that year. But I would say even after that, my second year is when I started matching up against guys. Odell Beckham was my first matchup when he came back from his injury in Cleveland in 2021. But for me, that was what I did in college. So I was used to doing that for about 2 years. In college, coming to the league, of course, Kyle Fuller was the vet my rookie year. And then taking that over, it was like, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm brought here.
To be fair, though, you was at Utah.
Yeah, no doubt.
In the league, you seeing something different every week.
What does that mean?
Because it
Utah
ain't-
is big time football.
But it ain't SEC football.
I'm not. I
ain't no knock.
I ain't debating that. I ain't debating that.
I ain't knocking you.
Yeah,
saying
no doubt, no doubt.
I'm not.
Jay, I was just being petty.
But nah, I'm definitely not knocking.
No, I got you.
Because I know what you made of. I'm just saying, like, when you come to the league, you're like, shit, it ain't just the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm here. It's like, I got to do it this week. I got to do it again.
For sure.
I got to do it again and again. And when they demand it like you as a number one, you got to follow the number one. So that moment when you realize, shit, my job is what his job is. We just on different sides.
100%. I think, honestly, the way I process it is like I've been doing that my whole life as far as being a smaller name guy, coming from a smaller city and having to go and play the kids from LA, going and play those kids in Texas and Florida. Right. So it's like for me, I've been even on the basketball circuit, I was on the Under Armour circuit and things like that. So it's like I've been playing in these matchups my whole life. So it's like now because it's Odell Beckham, now because it's Amari Cooper, I'm not looking at them any kind of way. Of course, at times it's like, damn, that's really him. But it's like, as soon as I think that, it's like, okay, but now I got to bust his ass and I got to get back in that mode. But I think for me, it's like I'm used to winning those matchups and going through those battles just from a young age.
You know, you come in and I think this is the third regime you've had. And so it's Matt Nagy, it's to Eberflus, and now it's to Ben Johnson. I don't want to really talk about the past, but I do want to ask, what is it that has given you confidence that Ben Johnson can be the guy now in Chicago?
I think you can tell a lot about a man by, I would say, his consistency and how he shows up. You can feel his intensity. You can feel his authentic self. And I think a lot of times coaches are always coming with the rah-rah speeches. Coaches are always going to have those type of things to say. But I think they don't live those things out. A lot of the time they want you to live it out, but they don't live that out. I think one thing from talking to him a few times is I feel like he lives that out. And of course, being able to play against him a few times, it's like, nah, they really trying to put up like 40 on that. They trying to embarrass you. Like it's a real thing. And it's like he tells a story, of course, about how he grew up and his dad and things like that. It's not just really for us about winning. It's like, no, you have to really like embarrass them and like really like make them have no second thoughts and about the game, about the result. And it's like, that's how he coaches. And it's like from the jump and off season, people will call me, text me, like, hey man, he different. Like he getting on Caleb, he getting on the defense, like all these different things. And it's like, we never had that. We never had a certain level of accountability and a certain level of transparency where it's like, nah, if you want to get to the championship, this is how those championship teams practice. This is how those championship teams play. This is how they watch film. This is how they go about doing business. So I think for us, having a championship coaching staff with, of course, Dennis Allen winning and coaching in those Super Bowls and things like that, he has, and I also credit them too, is he built a heck of a staff as well to where he can focus on the offense and then Dennis Allen can focus on the defense. Because, I mean, he was just a head coach, so he knows how to run a unit. He knows how to run a team. So I think they all collectively do a heck of a job.
You say you brought up Caleb. Caleb done been on the show before.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool dude.
Yeah.
Cool. He a California guy like yourself. Y'all
He's from DC.
He from
went to
DC,
USC.
But that USC, I don't know what they put you in you with. Y'all run the room and just with the shoulder wiggles and all.
I got you.
Hey,
But that's that. What's the Nuke thing?
I'm a Kappa, yeah.
Yeah, all that.
What's the Caleb thing?
No, the Kappas, they wiggle, they wiggle their body a lot. They worm. The Kappas
they
worm
do,
a
they
lot.
do.
Yeah, that ain't very masculine to me, like you said. Yeah, that's
Continue, man.
That's a feminine dress.
This is about Jaylon.
But Caleb's a big part of this. When
No
we
doubt.
played, you could have what was 09? Y'all's defense, y'all stupid defense.
He was number one.
09. What was that? 2002 Buccaneers, 2000 Ravens. Like to choke somebody to death.
Yeah.
Can't
to
do that no more.
13. You can't do it no more.
For sure.
Your quarterback got a ball. You've played the best. You brought up Brady already. I know you done played the dogs. Caleb can spin it,
100%.
but is Caleb progressing to a level of playoff quarterback? Like, where do you see him? Talent's there. We all know that.
Right.
Where is he moving to?
That's tough. Honestly, I wouldn't want to dip my hand in something that's not mine in a way of like, I don't know what that looks like. Because, I mean, respectfully, before him, we had Justin. He didn't really get opportunity to really show too much. Quarterbacks before, we had Nick Foles. We had Mitch Trubisky. I mean, I've been through a lot of quarterbacks. So it's like, I don't know what that looks like on a day-to-day. I don't know what that looks like mentally, of course, playing them, looking at it through the TV. It's like, nah, Tom, he's cool, calm, and collective. He always gets through 2-minute drives. Patrick Mahomes, like...
Different when you're in the building.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's different when you can actually see it. I know talking to some guys that have, it's like, I know Mike Pennell, he's with KC, D lineman. He came from KC to the Bears, and he was just like, bro, he's different. But it's like, I can never really understand what he's talking about. Yeah. But he was just like, the way that they operate, the way that he operates, we always truly like believe because he's that guy, and like we see him putting in a certain level of work. And I think even beyond putting in a level of work, I feel like some guys' makeup is just a little different. And I feel like for me, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, I see him doing it or I see him not doing it. I know he's definitely taking steps. I definitely see his car in a lot longer than it was. Definitely see him taking those steps. But I couldn't just say, oh yeah, he's progressing to be a TB, and I ain't never really know what TB put in.
There ain't many TBs.
Yeah, I can't speak to that.
It was one of them. When you mentioned Ben Johnson, it made me think of the fake fumble. Right? Did you ever ask him about that? Did you say, hey, Ben, what was it about us that made you think faking fumbling the ball and having a wide lead?
I would have if I didn't see the little video they put out. Because I think that was when Jared Goff did the quarterback thing. Yeah. So I seen the video. So when I'm watching, I'm like, at first, like on the field, of course, I was covering my guy, and I just see him open. I'm like, dang, what happened? And it was like, we thought they fumbled. So it was like, in the game, whatever, we really thought they like fumbled and picked the ball up. So we like, oh, whatever, fluke pay. We go to watch the film. We like, bro, ain't no way he faked the fumble. And then the video came out, and we just like, who thinks of that? But to the point, it did happen against Green Bay, and Buddy was wide open. It was like the fact that he was that detailed, the fact that he was that creative to go back and look at what will get these guys to bite up on this run fake. That was the best thing I've ever seen. I feel like as far as play calling creativity.
Yeah. So you wore 33. Another great Bear made the Bears top 100. Peanut Tillman. But you recently switched. Have you been able to spend much time with Peanut?
No, not really. The most I know, he'll come to practice a few times and just talk, pick his brain. I would say the most that stands out, I would say, is our play style is a lot different. So I think for me, it's like understanding. I won't even say understanding. I think being ball conscious. And I feel like for me, like coming out of college, I'm thinking ball conscious, interceptions, breaking the ball up. But it's like, nah, you got to start like punching, trying to find ways to impact the game and punch the ball out. And it's like, I didn't think like to go punch the ball. I'm trying to tackle the dude. Forget that ball. If it come out, it come out. But for him and them, of course, showing all the highlights, it's like there's really opportunities to make plays out here. And it's like talking to him, it's like, nah, it's all about, like, it's really all about the ball. And I think that was something that he always emphasized was different ways to get to the ball, different ways to, I mean, he's different physically, mentally. I mean, he was showing me some damn ways to get off the path or the run block and do this and break his arm here. I'm like, Peanut, I'm not trying to do all that. Like, I'll give him a long arm or something, but it's just like he's trying to do all these different things to where he can go get to the ball, try to punch the ball out and do what he does best. But I would say for me, that was something that got my wheels turning as far as trying to being able to impact the game. But for me, I like the covering part of it.
You won't be getting off the blocks like Jaylon did in week 1?
Nah, I'm not saying I get stuck on blocks, but I think the way you get off of them is a little different. But for me, I think it's a pride thing when guys come to block me. I feel like it's the unspoken, like, manly competition going on in that way. It's like, nah, I gotta let you know you can't put your hands on me like that.
Fellas, big picks, big prizes. Toyota is all in with epic giveaways for the fans all season long.
Yeah, man, Toyota is giving fans a chance to win rewards on game day while elevating Team Toyota athletes.
All you got to do is predict the big plays happening every week that football is played. You're going to get gift cards. Jersey Mike's, my favorite sub. You got the Marriott. You got NFL Shop. We're going to watch out for you.
And I'll be tapping in Sunday to watch Vikings-Falcons with the chance to win an Uber gift card for $150.
Don't miss out. For more information on how to participate, you got to go to toyota.com/NFL. Get all your information there on how to win these great prizes. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Ends on February 8th, 2026. Open to legal residents of the 50 U.S. states and D.C. 18 and over. For complete details, how to enter, prizes, and official rules, visit www.toyotasgamedaygiveaways.com. Bring up J Ram, because he was on. We tried a training camp tour. Kind of getting, we're done with it now, but, you saw it. Where he was saying he enjoys outside, going to the nickel, going back to say he wants to move around.
Yeah.
How you feel about that position change and moving around? Because I know Revis was the dude when we played. Revis going to lock up outside all day long. How you feel about the position change and moving around and all that?
I'm definitely more the Revis. Just keep me outside. And I think for me, it's style of play is a big thing. We all knew Jalen Ramsey was a heck of a tackler. We always knew he had ball skills. So it's like somebody like that you can put at safety because he can still come down and tackle. He can still make fits, and he's a physical specimen for real. So it's like he can be in that box and shed those old linemen and still make plays. He can do all of it, see it. And of course, he's been around the game a long time now, where it's like he already has outside on lock, and now it's like through the years he transitioned to getting some nickel, and then really just learning defenses. I feel like his IQ has allowed him to start playing that safety, that dime position. But that definitely comes with turns. That's not something I think anybody should start out trying to play all these positions. Like, now you got to master one first. And I feel like he earned that right.
You talked about Jettas scoring a touchdown in the fourth quarter. This week, it's the Lions.
Yeah.
It's such a different matchup because you don't have a ton of film with them with Johnny Moe
100%.
as the coordinator, right? You got the 1 week in Green Bay. There was a struggle against that defense. But still on that team, man, there's Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's an all-pro player. There's J-Mo Williams. He just got his money. Both teams headed into this matchup 0-1. How important is it for you guys to go there and find a way to get a W?
I think it's very important, but I think it starts with a mental commitment. I think going into that environment like that, especially with going back, I wouldn't say home, I guess, but going back home to Detroit, is definitely going to be, I would say, a mental commitment to strain. And I think in that way, because, for them, they pride themselves on toughness and all that. So we got to really go in there and we got to outdo that. And that's not going to be a comfortable thing to do. And I think not only is it going to be physical, but the mental strain that we got to get over the hump of, because clearly that's been the biggest thing for us. We've been in tight games all throughout last year, throughout this year, of course, to start off the season, giving away the lead that we have. So it's really just about, I would say, mental commitment to the physical strain and the mental strain. But I don't think it's really, as far as matchups goes, I feel like it's whatever in that way.
Who you jumping on?
I'll probably say whoever comes to my side. I don't think it's somebody I got to go follow.
Because that damn my Rob.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What about him?
We went to practice. I thought this motherfucker was Jerry Rice.
Yeah, you
Bruh,
went to the Miami one?
Yeah.
Yeah, you went to
We
Miami
was,
joint.
man. Hey, no, Jay.
Yeah,
He
no.
gonna
was-
catch
he was
every
killing,
ball.
he was
Why he
killing.
gonna
Hey,
catch
it got
every
ugly.
ball?
He was, yeah, no,
Like,
he was
it
killing.
got
in
to a
one-on-ones.
point.
He was killing.
It got to a point where he'd take a one-on-one rep, catch the ball. By the time he ran back, he was back
up
for the
again.
next
Yeah,
one.
yeah, 100%.
Like you know how it is
The
when,
other receivers.
when you start feeling good though.
Yeah, you start trying to go.
Yeah, you know what it is. Yeah, you start trying to go. But I think, I listened to you talk about wanting to get the top spot, a mental commitment to strain, to push. How do you feel as an organization you guys have been as it pertains to those traits of winning throughout your time here in the other regimes?
I would probably say this. I mean, of course, my first regime I got drafted into. Young, learning it. The staff got fired after my second year. I would definitely say as far as hirings go, as far as it being different, I would definitely say this year feels a lot different. I think just feeling the vibe of things trying to move and change in the right direction. I think not only getting Ben, but doing what it takes to get Ben, I think was a step in the right direction. Of course, paying him the amount of money that he got, that's showing that we're trying to do some things. But I think really it starts up top, the tradition and things like that, but I feel like it really goes into the locker room. I think it's one of those things for us where we're still trying to figure out how to take it over and still trying to figure out how to we have a tight-knit locker room, but I think we all got to get on the same page of hunger to win. Wow. And I think I only bring Detroit up because they had a new regime come in and they were talking about different things, but I feel like you definitely can see the team buy into that new, what they say, grit over there. So it's like finding that for themselves. I think for us, we have to find what it looks like for ourselves in our locker room. Because, I mean, a coach can come in. I mean, we had, when Coach Flus was here, the hits principal and everybody was, okay, yeah, this is what we need. We need tough football back. And it didn't work out. Yeah. And it's like now with Ben having the killer mentality, it sounds good, but until we figure out a way to really make it all come together, I think we'll be in the same spot.
They've been to Pittsburgh a lot because of me, and they've been around a bunch of Steelers. It's, even with the different personalities, it's like talking to the same football player all the time. When we talk about what we believed in, how we approach football, like even our conversations now as adult men, you could tell like there's a foundation that made these 100%. Humans tight. But the other part of it is too, bro, winning makes you cool. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like you become tight when you go on Super Bowl runs.
You winning.
Right, and you deal with and get through adversity. And in the thought of adversity, you get your deal, and then there's stories written about you going to therapy for a sexual addiction. And we've had a conversation with Kirk Franklin about this before. And like on our show, we try to sort of give people space to explain things that there are people in their homes going through these things, dealing with these things, and they're too scared to talk about them. They believe they're by themselves. For you, what was that entire ordeal like?
It was crazy because we flew in the night before, PJ, whatever, had my family, my friends, we was all at my house, my old house, whatever, so we cooking. I think my wife was making tacos or whatever, so everybody kind of doing their thing. And I'm like, oh, I gotta give like a speech. Like, what am I gonna say in my opening presser? So I kind of go like my basement or whatever, and I'm just kind of typing out some notes. And my spirit was just like, you can't glorify all these things that you're getting, all the work that you put in without telling them how God delivered you from what you was going through. So for me, it was just like, man, I'm thinking, like as I'm typing and kind of like listening to him talk to me, I'm like, ain't no way I'm about to get up here and just say this like this. And it's like, he said it clear again, just like, you can't really glorify me until you bring this up. And I'm just like, forget it. So I typed it all out. And none of my family knew. I just kind of typed it to myself. So when I went up there and I said it, for the most part, of course, my wife, my now wife, she knew about it or whatever, but everybody else was kind of the first time hearing about it. And I think for me, it was important in my highest moment to talk about my lowest moment. Because, again, if it wasn't for God's work in my life, I wouldn't be where I was or where I got to at that point. Even where I'm at now, it's like, going into that season, my mind was so cluttered, was so cloudy, didn't have the right focus, and I'm just talking to her like, I need help. It's not just somewhere. It's like, right from wrong, and I always take full accountability for my actions, and I don't want to ever say or put it on somebody, oh, my environment was this, or I wasn't taught this, and I wasn't. I used to think like that. I used to think like, man, I wish I was better molded into being the right man that I was supposed to be, that God called me to be. But for me, I still knew right from wrong, and I feel like I didn't think of the repercussions from it. And I feel like even for me, it was, and starting in high school, it's like trying to just keep up with everybody else and just keep up with the homeboys doing. It's like, okay, yeah, it's all cool, it's fun, it's innocent at the time. But it's like, as you go into college, as you get into relationships, it's like you already done built this badass foundation of where you go seek comfort at. And I think for me, it was just like, after a certain point in time, it's like, I don't even know why the hell I'm doing what the hell I'm doing. Like, or why I'm even thinking the way that I'm thinking. And for me, I'm just like, nah, something got to change. And it's just like over time. And it's like, I know there's plenty of times where God will move through my wife and talk to me. And it's like things that I was just in the moment of thinking or doing or whatever, she hit me with the same thing that I'm going through. I'm just like, I know God's really talking and moving through me in that way. And I need to take the step to be who I need to be for him first, and then for her and my family. Because biggest thing that I know, not just with money and status and things like that, but I feel like I'm the first in my family to really be able to change everything. And I wanted to take that on head on. And it was like, no, I need to change for myself. I need to change for my kids, for my wife, for my family, for the trajectory of my family and things like that. So I'm like, let me just put it out there of what I went through in my all-pro year. Was the year I was dealing with that. So I'm like, every off day, I would go in the mornings, drive like 45 minutes away or whatever, go to my sessions, talk to her, and it was like, really wasn't even about the sex part. It was just, it was the little kid in me that was more so trying to find himself, and was so hurt from things that went on in the family that I was around. And I ended up falling off into that. And it's just like, for me, it's like, let me heal that little boy so this man can be who he needs to be for his family. So that was really what that whole journey was about. But I think it was important for me to speak on that, because I feel like a lot of times, of course, as black men, I feel like we're looked at a certain way. We're looked at in that light. I think even just as men in general, it's one of those things where if you ain't getting none by a certain age, it's like, bro, you uncles where people, hey, bro, you gay? Like, what's wrong? Like, you
That's
get
real,
that
though.
pressure, and
That's
it's like
real.
one of those things where it's like, you don't really know. But I feel like for me, it's one of those things where it's like, if we only had I won't even say the right men, but if the men that were in our lives were led by the Spirit, were led by God, and groomed us to be who we are called to be, I think the trajectory of our lives would be completely different. So it's like, for me, I know now who I'm truly called to be, and how to operate, how to think, how to renew my mind, how to renew my heart in that way, where now it's like, for my kids, I can teach them, or it's like, don't do what daddy did. Don't have those thoughts that daddy had, and how to get through it. And it's not just telling. I think too, that's a big thing that I feel like I can only speak for black parents and black families, but it's like, don't just tell me not to do something, but tell me the reason why not to do it. And I think for me, I was raised in a church house. I was raised in that environment, and it was just, oh, don't sin, don't have sex before you're married, don't do this. But it's like, I don't know why the hell I'm doing it. I'm gonna have no fear to go out and do it. And I think for me, it's like, throughout this journey, throughout my life, even now, it's like, God always has a reason why. He has a why to his boundaries. And it's not because he doesn't want you to do it, but he wants to protect you from certain things. And for me, living outside of those boundaries, I was now open for all the issues that I was dealing with and still am dealing with. And that was one thing where I just really wanted to speak on that, to where other kids that look like me first, and just other kids, other men that are growing up, even young girls, to where it's like, how do you view yourself, and to view yourself in a different way?
RC brought up Kirk Franklin. Well, he had that, bro.
Jay, you've seen the clips before, Jay. Jay, you've seen the clips. I'm with you.
But big homie, like I told him, a porn addiction, you want to beat up your little man, beat up your little man. That's your business.
No doubt.
What's a sex addiction? Because you going to go, bro, like you saying, you going to find something about 14, 15. I had a Toyota Paseo. I grabbed me something in the Toyota Paseo. It was my sister's car. Like, it's a natural progression, and then you gonna keep hitting stuff. Like, I think it's an extreme to saying a sex addiction where we all want to wiggle that worm.
100%.
Like, what's the difference between natural human affection and sex addiction?
Same thing with people who drink. I feel like if you're going through things, your escape is what? You're gonna go drink.
Yeah.
If you're my escape growing up, family trouble, doing whatever I was doing, to go talk to girls, go do whatever I was doing.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it was as you doing that as a kid, you're developing yourself to depend on that. So now when you're going from a high school kid into a college kid, you start trying to get into relationships, you already done built yourself up in a way where you're now dependent on that. And then you can, and to me, even to the point, it's like, yeah, it's natural for you to have that, but it's natural for you to have that for one woman, not for 100 different women. And I think for me, that was the thing that I didn't grasp until few years when I started really starting to get help and starting to shift my perspective. But it's like, for me, it's not about, again, just being able, I have this urge and it's just, I'm gonna just go do it. It's like, for me, that's not being able to control yourself and not be able to move according to certain standards or values. I feel like that's where, that's not where the men lay to me. And I feel like I had to learn that, where it's like, if he just go around and do anything, he ain't really worth shit. To me, it's like, to me, the man who's worth the most is who doesn't just go around doing anything, who has control of himself, who looks at himself a certain way, and who has standards and a way of moving. So I feel like, yeah, I felt like it was natural. And of course, the things that I was being fed, oh yeah, bro, just go do da-da-da. And this, you rather go do that, you rather go beat your little man before you go. And it's like, yeah, in a way, it's like, yeah, that may seem better than the other one, but it's like, for your mind, it's not any different. It's like one of those things where it's like you're still feeding into it versus breaking it, and now being able to have that self-control where it's like, nah, I'm not gonna do neither one of those.
Yeah, I think the thing I love that you said, though, it's the man who chooses not to do it. Because what you do learn is it's not necessarily the sex. You said that earlier. It's not about the actual action, right? It's the comfort that it gives you. It's the reasons that you go to it. But that also doesn't mean that the man that's choosing not to doesn't have those same thoughts
100%.
or urges.
100%.
Right? It's that he's making the decision to value himself in a different way, or value the other people that would be caught up in his thoughts or caught up in his desires. And so I love the fact that you shared it. I love the fact, though, that you shared it in a thoughtful way, where it was, hey, no, like, I understand what's going on. I just, at the time, wasn't fixing it. You chose to say, I want to fix it. And I commend you so much for the work you put in, but also, man, I'm finna get paid all this money. I could use that time for anything to boost myself. But the fact that you heeded God's voice, man, I just really respect that about you. The season is off to a fast start, and Toyota is still all in all season with Toyota game day giveaways for all of the people that love Toyota. Matter of fact, we just saw Puka at camp, and me and him were sharing how much we are in love with our Toyotas, and I've been locked in since 2015.
That's right, man. Toyota has a commitment to football that runs deep, and they're even giving fans a lot more to lose their minds over. That's 22 weeks of new challenges and prizes.
Man, Toyota, I love it. They done dove into football this season.
And oh my goodness, this Sunday we got Baltimore and Buffalo. You know the second half is going to be packed with big-time plays, and they're giving away $100 NFL Shop gift cards.
Sunday's always special. It's been football, family, and now Toyota. And then later in the season, they're giving away a $1,000 gift card to Marriott. I'm about to sign up.
And don't miss out. Visit toyota.com/NFL right now to learn more. That's toyota.com/NFL.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited. Ends on February 8th, 2026. Open to legal residents of the 50 U.S. states and D.C. 18 and over. For complete details, how to enter, prizes, and official rules, visit www.toyotasgamedaygiveaways.com.
I think that's great, using one of the most, important moments in your life to give back in that capacity. But go back just a few more years before that. Your best friend was murdered, was shot and killed, Kevin Shrubs, and you started the Kevy's Vision Project,
No doubt.
right? And that's just to give back to underprivileged youth. So you're using, once again, your platform to look out for those kids. Kind of take us through that and the purpose of the foundation.
Yeah, so of course, coming to the league, you see all the guys that have the foundations and what are you going to support and things like that. I'm just like, I don't really got nothing, really. So when my first year, didn't do really too much. Going into my second year, my best friend was shot and killed back in Fresno. So I'm just like, of course, going through the emotions of it, went back for the funeral and kind of just seeing the hurt. I'm like, how can we change this? Like, where we're at, and it's like, of course, I'm assuming being all from different areas, but living the same lives. It's always the RIP shirts. It's always what you gonna do to get them back. It's always those type of conversations, and it's not how are we gonna use this to help others? How are we going to use this to impact other people to where we give other people hope? So I think for me, I ended up calling his mom up one day like, I want to start a foundation and start doing some work out of his name, because he was involved in the community. He had his own clothing brand he was trying to start up, and he would give shirts to the homeless. He would go to the hospital, do things like that. And I still remember to this day, I still have the text of some things that he wanted to do. So I really told his mom, I was like, hey, we got the blueprint. He already said like how he wants to impact the community, how he wants to help the youth and things like that. We should do it in his name. And then we got a group together, a close family friend group, and we really just started figuring out from there. I mean, we didn't have no resources, of course, outside the funds I had. Right. And then from there, we just built it from the ground up from there, and then trying to just really find ways to expand our impact.
You mentioned work, right? Mm-hmm. Pops, Johnny Jr., they worked. So it made you say, hey, look, I'm going to work. You read the book Relentless, right? From good to great to unstoppable. My favorite quote in that book is he says, the price of talk will never go up. It's always free, and you get what you pay for, right? And the reason I thought that was a prophetic saying is he's basically saying, if you never put action to thought or to words, it equals nothing.
Yeah, faith without works is dead.
Faith without works is dead. So for you, it's perfect segue. Good job, TV. How has faith played a part in making you the man you are now? Because you've spoken about spirituality and God so much throughout this sits out.
I know it's given me identity. And I think it's crazy because it's like you think that you know yourself, like you think you know something until you hit a point where it's like, man, I didn't know shit. And I think for me, that was what I was in. Really, I mean, I'm still finding it. I'm still reading my words, still finding things where it's like, damn, like I still got a long way to go. And it's like, that's the beautiful thing I feel like with having a relationship with God is you don't have to clean up to go to him. You don't have to clean up to hear his voice. I think it's one of those things where all you have to do is commit. All you have to do is believe in a way. But also with that belief, it still takes work. And it's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, well, I read my Bible, but do you turn away from your urges? Oh yeah, well, I'm listening to my sermon, but what are your thoughts? And it's like, one thing I know is like reading the word and listening to sermons, it's like, you're in control of your thoughts. You're in control of your heart posture in this way. And I think even for me, like my prayers, I always say, God, search my mind, search my heart, renew my mind, renew my heart, because one day I could be in a slump where my thoughts aren't right or my heart's not right. And it's like, nah, renew my mind to where I can now recommit to you. I can now recommit what you called me to. And I even got this bracelet. I freaking made it on Amazon. It says, you control you. And for me, it's like a reminder where it's like, no matter what's going on around me, I control my thoughts. Like I control how I react to things. No matter who says what to me, who does what to me, I'm in control, because honestly, I don't answer to you. I don't answer to you. I don't answer to her or my wife before I answer to God. And it's like one of those things where that's the biggest thing I'm trying to change in my family, my immediate family, as far as reacting. And one thing I just learned too is there's a difference between reacting and responding. And in that is reaction comes from your flesh and you just do it because your flesh has to do it. But responding, you're filled with the Holy Spirit and you already have your response to it. And really just when God was tempted after he got saved or baptized, he was tempted by the devil, he had responses. Anytime the devil tried to tempt him with something, he had a response with God's word. And for me, it's one of those things where it's like trying to move like he moved. And of course, I'm never going to be perfect in that way. As we know as athletes, coaches coach you for perfection, but you never reach it. It's the same thing in your walk with Christ where I don't have to be perfect. I don't need to try to be perfect per se. I just need to be better. I just need to work at whatever it is that I'm deficient in. And again, your problems aren't my problems aren't your problems aren't his problem. But one thing we can meet in the middle in is we all got problems and we all got things that we go through. And to me, God is always going to be at the center of it. Now, who removes themselves from that center, that's on him. But I feel like for me, it's one of those things where it's like, I want to stop just having a foot in that middle. It's like, let me kind of sit up, let me get all the way in there, because I know with that commitment, yeah, there's always going to be hard things. It's not going to make me exempt from hardships, but I definitely know that he can guide me and lead me through whatever it is.
Talking that stuff, dog. I'm not, you are. Yeah, he's talking.
And I love how you did that. When you dove into it, when you didn't just put your foot in the faith, did your circle change? Because I think that's hard for a lot of young players. Y'all are young people, but players for sure.
Yes, with my faith, but I would also say just with the steps of my life. And for me, it was hard because I pray prayers sometimes where I don't necessarily understand what will come from it. And I know at times it's like, God, bring the right people in my life, remove the wrong people from my life. And it's like, you don't really know until you see people that you was close with that you no longer talk to. And it's like, there's no true rhyme or reason. There was no big fallout. It's just, we just slowly drifted away. And it's like, it still hurts in a way where it's like, dang, I was always cool with them. Like, oh, I was like, it was always love. But it's like, as I said earlier, it's like God sees something that I don't see. And maybe our time has just come. And it's one of those things where it's like, with the faith, you can't move and hang out with the same people naturally because of their environments that you're trying to protect yourself from. But even with money, even with status, even with progression, everybody truly can't go and aren't meant to go. Quite honestly, it's not anything to anybody else as far as them being beneath me or anything like that. I think everybody's paths just eventually go this way, whether it's through life or whether it's through death. At some point, we're going to end up separating. But I think for me, it was just always understanding that. Like, and for me, it had to happen where it's like, dang, that hurts. And it's like, even to this day, I'll think like, man, I should not happen for a reason. And you kind of just stay, I'm just trying to stay where I'm at.
Hey, Jay, looking back on it all, what would you consider your biggest pivot in life? That's that moment you can dial in on and say, because this happened for me or to me, I am who I am today.
I would say going back, I'll give a few. I would say going back, I would say my parents' divorce, I would say would probably be one. I think in that moment, and not even in that moment, during that time of, I feel like separation was a time where I had to find that inner strength. And I know my dad, he's big on mental strength. He has 1,000 quotes and all those things. But I think for me, I was able to live that out as far as like, you got to do what you have to do until you can get what you want to get or until you can do what you want to do. And for me, I was in a situation where it's like, I don't want to be here. I want things to be whatever, but I still have to continue to be strong. I still have to continue to go to school, good grades. I still have to continue to put in the work. And even though I'm hurting inside, I still got to show up. And I think for me, that's part of life. I mean, no matter what goes on, you still got to be able to show up. I would say that. I would say the realization that I needed more help. I would say that changed a lot of things for me. I would say having my youngest daughter recently, she changed some things for me as well. I know me and her mom, my wife, we went through some adversity with her and during her. And it was one of those things where it wasn't looking too bright, but she ended up pushing through. Came out 9 pounds for 4 ounces and healthy, hasn't been sick a day in her life. She's nothing but a ball of joy. And I think for me, being able to exercise my faith in that way where it's like, nah, God has something different for her, regardless of what anybody else is saying. Seeing how she wakes up truly like, yeah, it's my daughter, but it's like knowing where she came from and what was said about her and where things were going. It's like, nah, between her and her mom showing that strength as well, being able to continue to push. And it's funny, I can laugh about it now, but just during that whole time, it was like, I'm thinking like, man, we doing too much, babe. It's like, it's doing too much, but it's like, for her, it's like, nah, we ain't doing enough. Like, it was a certain level of commitment and a certain level of protection that I've seen from her and from my daughter, where it's like, I can never take really life for granted. Yeah, my homeboy passed, but it's like, when you have your daughter in that situation and you have your wife where it's like, it could have went either way and you starting to see it, it's like, nah, I have to show up in a different way. I have to lead this family that I was blessed with. That it could have, I mean, from everything that I've done, from everything that could have just went another direction, it was a wake-up call for me where it's like, nah, I'm called to be exactly where I'm at with the people I have.
All right, so before we leave, man, got to do this because it's football season.
Let's do it.
All right, so what are the matchups you circle? Right, see, I played safety, so I always looking at running backs. I was like, who gonna break through this hole?
I gotta go ahead.
Who I gotta go tackle? You got the Lions this week. Do we circle that game or no? You just go out there and play?
I'm gonna circle it because of the team. I wouldn't say necessarily from a one-on-one standpoint.
Wow. Cowboys.
CeeDee Lamb for sure. Well, now both of them. CeeDee Lamb, George
CeeDee
Pickens.
Lamb, George. We're gonna skip the Raiders. Commanders.
I'll say so. The team. I'll say more so the team.
Ravens.
The team.
Bengals.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, for sure.
New York.
Yeah, I like Malik. Yeah, I like Malik.
Does it matter who playing quarterback?
Nah.
They jump every route. They ain't throwing deep.
Yeah, I was about to say, nah. It changed how I play, but it don't change my mindset.
All right, we got Vikings,
For always.
Steelers,
Yeah, DK. Uh-huh.
Eagles,
Oh, yeah, AJ.
Packers.
Team.
Team?
Yeah.
All right.
I think, to me, I feel like it's different. Like, Amon-Ra is a heck of a talent, but I think for me, it's more, I feel like it's more of a game plan, more of a scheme where it's like we have to go in and try to take away certain things. I wouldn't say it's just one of, I mean, of course, when they get down, they go into him. Yeah. But with him being inside, too, it's a lot hard for me because I don't go inside and do all that. So I think even with J-Mo, I feel like he's young, he's emerging, working on his game. But I think for the Lions, it's definitely more of a scheme thing. You got to take care of the run and then stop the shots and then get Amon-Ra on third down. So I think it's kind of simple in that way. Even with Washington, Scary Terry's a heck of a dude. Played against him a few times throughout my career. But I feel like now with the system that they got, you got to be able to take away everything. I feel like it's not, for sure. I think Scary for 1 week can go for 200, next week can go for 20. So it's like, you never know. It all depends on the flow of the game.
You said Bengals, though. You said,
Yeah, Jamar Chase like that. Justin's like that. I was excited for Amari Cooper to go to the Raiders. I love his game.
Mm-hmm. What do you think has been the hardest, like, singular matchup on an individual? What do you think is the most difficult one in the league right now?
Right now, I would say Devontae. I know when I matched up against him my second year, that was probably the most uncomfortable I feel like I've somewhat like felt going against somebody where it's like I was damn near meditating on like his releases for hours, like just going through the house trying to find his rhythm, trying to find what he does. I would probably say that back then. I haven't played him recently, and I played him at the Raiders. It was a shit show over there. But I would say now, I would definitely say Justin because I play him the most. I see him the most. I'm looking forward to Chase because I feel like it's not nothing that wows you, I would say, as far as like route running and things like that. But he's a dog. And I feel like for me, it was him and AJ, I feel like that. Like it's nothing crazy as far as the routes, but you got to strap up. You got to come correct. You got to go in there with the right mentality. So I definitely love those matchups.
Yeah, well, man, listen, I'm honestly, bro, I didn't know what to expect from the entire thing. You know, me and you texted a little bit. I got to meet you in person, you know, earlier this year. But man, this was really amazing. And like when I think of our show as a whole, like this is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, no doubt.
We're supposed to be able to talk about sports, but speak about real life, speak life into people. And I really feel like you did that, man. And for a young man, like that is a very difficult thing to master, bro. So I appreciate you.
No doubt. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, that joint was great, man.
Old soul is what they call it.
That joint was great. Hey,
Old soul.
yeah, that was good, man. That was really good.
Big dog, that's up. No doubt.
And you heard her? She goes, that was really good. I don't like anything. That's about that is very true.
Hold up, limitless. Niggas to me, can't pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up. On the mission, got me up. Knowing me, I got the key. On the vision, I can trust. Limitless. Niggas to me, can't pinning it. I fought the head to witness it. Got my people feeling militant. Way I'm feeling, got me up.